Do you have any fears or phobias in your life? Do you ever experience feelings of depression or just feeling low? Do you want to overcome them? Do you want to reprogram your mind to feel better and find out the keys to success and wealth? Then keep listening as we go through Tony Robbins' New York Times #1 bestseller, Unlimited Power. Hi, welcome back to the channel. My name is Dr Aziz. I'm a psychology graduate of Cambridge University and also a medical doctor. In this video, we'll be carrying on with Tony Robbins' series and I'll be covering Unlimited Power. It's a fascinating read in just over 450 pages. But as always, don't worry, you don't have to read it because I've done the hard work for you and we'll be presenting all the key points in the next 7 minutes or so. We'll be learning how modeling yourself on another person can help you achieve anything, why casting your eyes to particular direction can help you memorize things, and how changing the position of your body can help alleviate feelings of depression and lethargy. If you've ever suffered from depression, you probably know that one of the most powerful triggers is feeling like a failure. Perhaps you failed an exam or made a poor investment and suddenly the cycle of darkness was there again. The truth is, there is no such thing as failing. Sometimes we win, sometimes we learn. In fact, if we define failing as not achieving the results we were hoping for, then some of the world's most successful people would be deemed failures. But the truth is, successful people see these so-called failures as an opportunity to learn. Abraham Lincoln called his failures the narrative of his life, and instead of throwing in the towel, he learned from his experiences. He then went on to become one of the most celebrated presidents in American history. Thomas Edison also did not believe in failure. He never gave up his quest to create the light bulb. Even after thousands of unsuccessful attempts, he considered each of these attempts as revealing a new way of how not to create a light bulb. Throughout history, successful people have learned from mistakes and have been unafraid to try again. In summary, sometimes we win, sometimes we learn. There is no failure. We cannot prevent difficult situations occurring, that's life, but we can choose how our minds process and retain such events. Your inner voice is very important. Even when we are feeling down or like a failure, it is telling us that we are not good enough. Take control of this. Tell your inner voice what we can do. If that doesn't work, try changing the tone of your inner voice. Make it more appealing, a more attractive inner voice. Negative thoughts can cause depression, but by being aware of these, we can control them. You may think of yourself as no good or ugly or unsuccessful. Perhaps you discourage things to yourself in sad tones with your head hanging low. By paying attention to these thoughts and sensations, you can figure out which ones trigger your depression and catch them before they take over. Remind yourself that you are good, beautiful, and not a failure. To be successful, it is important to not reinvent the wheel. Rather, find success and emulate it. Tony Robbins gives a brilliant example of this in his book. He did not know anything about shooting guns, but he still accepted an offer from the US Army to improve the shooting accuracy of its soldiers. When he arrived, only 70% of the recruits were passing the final shooting test. Tony Robbins looked closely at the top performers and modeled a training program after them. He studied everything from how they thought, how they held their bodies, to how they decided when to fire a shot. Soon enough, 100% of the new recruits are passing their tests with flying colors. Robbins outlines a 5-step process for emulating success, and this can be used for anything. Let's say you want to be a world-class skier. Step 1, find a gold medal skier and study their exact movements. Step 2, practice by imitating and reproducing these movements yourself. Step 3, visualize the gold medal winning skier in your mind's eye. Picture every movement in detail until you have the full image of what perfect skiing looks like. Step 4, picture yourself in place of the expert skier in your visualization and imagine your own perfect movements. You might see yourself struggle or even fall at first, but continue visualizing until you are as good as the expert. Step 5, take it to the slopes. You will find the visualization pays off in the real world and your performance will improve. Tony Robbins then explains how you can use your eye movements to improve your memory and creativity, and in turn overall how you feel. Try this for an exercise. Think of how many windows your house has. Chances are your eyes point upwards and towards the right when you do this. Now here's another exercise. Imagine a creature that has the head of a lion, the body of a lizard, and a scorpion's tail. Chances are this time your eyes went sideways instead of upwards. These eye movements take place because the former is asking you to recall something from memory, whereas in the latter you are being creative and doing something new. So use these to your advantage. Next time you are trying to remember something, look upwards and towards the right intentionally, and the next time you are asked to develop something new, try looking towards the right for inspiration. Tony Robbins then goes on to explain that you can improve your relationship with a loved one by finding out what kind of communication they prefer: auditory, visual, touch. How do you do this exactly? Just by asking a few simple questions. Ask your partner about a memorable time when he or she felt completely loved. Then ask about what led to this feeling. Was it something someone said, or perhaps a hug or a surprise gift that made them feel so loved? Use the answers to redirect how you communicate with your loved one. Robbins then goes on to talk about the importance of our body language. Have you you ever noticed that after an episode of crying, we stop our tears by raising our heads and breathing deeply through our noses and into our chest? This is just one of the ways we can control our emotions. Another adjustment is when we are feeling tired. We often give in to tiredness and our productivity subsequently suffers as a result. But we often fight this, and the key is to recognize the key physiological changes that take place when we feel tired. Our muscles begin to relax, our shoulders slump, and our jaws begin to slacken. By recognizing these signs, we can attempt to reverse them. Firstly, we can add more tension to our muscle. Pull back your shoulders, open up your chest, and smile. These simple changes will re-energize your body and mind. Soon enough, you'll be ready for action again. Combine these with raising your head and breathing deeply, and you will feel very quickly a lot better. Once this begins, any feelings of depressions will soon disappear. The power of conviction comes when you align your body and mind with a confident plan of action. Imagine being on the battlefield and the general shouting orders to the troops with great posture and authority. You may lose the battle, but there is conviction and courage. Now imagine that same general laying out his plans whilst looking at the ground, mumbling and shuffling his feet. Doesn't exactly inspire you, does it? The same holds true for your own life. Confidence and personal power come to those who are convinced their plan is a good one. Instead of spending your life worrying about what the right choice is, make a decision and follow through with it with complete conviction. If your plan is full of maybes and mights, then your body will mirror your insecurity. When you arrive at a plan, declare, I am going to do this, and your body will mirror your focused determination. You can develop your powers of conviction by modeling yourself after charismatic leaders or even actors. Charisma is apparent in those who are assured and confident, and you can see it in the way they speak and carry their bodies. In summary, you are not a victim. What happens in your life is a result of your own attitude towards it and how you treat yourself and body. If you want to change your life, start by changing your attitude. By making simple alterations to how you respond to situations and your emotions, you'll find you can achieve anything that you want. Be sure to check out some of Tony Robbins' other bestsellers, which I have summarized on this channel, and I've linked those here. Anyway, I hope you learned something useful and enjoyed this summary. If you want to keep learning about psychology, medicine, or life hack, hit the like, subscribe, and notifications button. Any suggestions or comments, feel free to post below. Until next time, stay safe.